Welcome back, everybody. It's Ed from the Militant Farmer channel. I'm here with a new kind of video. I haven't really done one like this before, but being at the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival event and backpacking with different friends, I've gotten this question more than one time, so I figured I'd answer it on video for everybody to see. What do I take with me in my backpack when I go backpacking, camping, whatever? So I got my backpack here. I'll show you guys what the backpack is at the end of the video once I empty it. I'm going to lay everything out up on the table. I'm not going to take forever in this video, but I want to at least give you guys a glimpse of what I pack. Some of them are going to be basic items, some of them are going to be personal items, and some of them are going to be luxury items. What I want. So I'm going to start off with the outside of my pack. What I wear, not necessarily my clothes, but a piece of gear that has been a game changer for me, especially in the summer months, is one of these Frog Togs chili pads. It's a towel that when you get wet and you wring it out, the water evaporates, cooling it down. I don't know the science behind it, but then it keeps you cool. So that's the first thing. I wear that when I'm hiking or backpacking or whatever, because I'm a big dude and I sweat a lot, and that thing keeps me cool, number one. Another thing on the outside of my pack, I usually keep it clipped right here when I'm walking, so I got quick access to my water, is my Grail GeoPress. This is the 24-ounce water purification system. They've been out for a little while. There's 100 different reviews on them on YouTube. You can check them out. If you want to get your own, my buddy Mike over at Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival has a code that you can get some percentage off. So make sure you go check out his videos. You can get the link to that, all that good stuff. So that's the Grail GeoPress. That's what I use on the outside of my pack for my water purification. If I'm not using that, I'm using a Katadyn B-Free with a Hydro Pack. But we'll get into that in one of the short videos when I go over my water purification. The next thing on the outside of my backpack is my rain gear. I can't even call it a rain gear. All it is a military poncho in a 2.5 liter Sea to Summit sack. So another thing on the outside, you keep my tools for wood processing on the outside of my pack as well. In either side pocket, I have a Ontario Rat 5 that I use for any of my knifing needs. And I also carry normally the Agawa Boreal 21. I'm pretty sure they have a larger one and a smaller one as well, but I carry the 21. Goes through wood like hot butter, and for wood processing, if I can find something a little bit shorter, I'm down with that. If not, this thing doesn't weigh too much, so I don't mind carrying it for the wood processing, what little wood processing we do. So let me unclip this. I should have got this ready beforehand, but I didn't because I'm an unorganized, unprepared kind of guy. So we'll see how this video even goes. A luxury item that I'm now recently started carrying is the One Tigris high back camp chair. Like I said, I'm a pretty big dude, and I weigh a bit. You know, I'm upwards of 275, 280. We'll say that. But this chair is good up to 330 pounds or something like that. So for all you bigger dudes and dudettes who like to go camping and don't want to sit on the ground, check out some of these camp chairs. The one that I use is the high back from One Tigris. Next thing I use, not necessarily on the outside of my pack, but that I've recently started carrying with me and using, are a set of trekking poles. Not only can you use them for trekking, walking, and whatnot, but you can also use them for setting up your tarp. I use a tarp. I don't use a tent. So having these helps me to be able to set up when there aren't trees around to tie off to. I can set up a little A-frame. Again, short video incoming. We'll go over things of that nature. So these are our Foxelli outdoor trekking poles. La Bamba. The last thing that I keep on the outside of my pack is part of my cooking kit, which is a 32-ounce single wall stainless steel bottle. This set happens to come from the Self-Reliance Outfitters Pathfinder School, Dave Canterbury. You can look him up on YouTube. Great wealth of knowledge when it comes to bushcraft, survival, things of that nature. So this just happens to be part of my cook pot, well, my cook set, and yeah, moving on. That's it for the outside of my pack. I have a brain on my pack that I use. I'm going to go through that next. There's a few things that I like to keep on hand and just know where they are at all times. Not necessarily this one piece, but this is where I keep it so it stays out of trouble because there's a bunch of points on it. This is my Primus Classic Camping Backpacking Stove. It's a little large, and I could go smaller, but I like the fact that I can fit my whole cup on it or my whole bottle. I don't have to worry about any of it tipping or anything like that. The next thing up there is my Seeker 2-liter Hydra Pack collapsible water bottle. I use that a lot when I want to carry extra water. You saw it in one of my last videos when I went backpacking with Lil. I purified some water with the Grail and then dumped that into the pack, the Hydra Pack, and kept myself hydrated that way, bringing water back to camp so that we didn't have to go looking for it the next day, which is always a good thing. The next thing I got up in the top of my pack is my shit kit, my toilet paper and wet wipes, because that's how I do. Toilet paper and wet wipes. Anything less would be uncivilized. I also keep some, I can't pronounce the word because I'm not good with words, but the Sawyer Pickerdickerin. Pickerdickin. This is what it looks like. I have the lotion and the spray. The lotion I use for when I'm wearing short sleeves and shorts. The spray I usually use for like my hats, my ears, my shoes, things of that nature. I think this is the last thing. No, I have two more things in here. I have a small bag problem where my bag falls on the floor. But I have a small first aid kit, Band-Aids, moleskin, Benadryl, aspirin, non-aspirin, a tourniquet. It's just a regular TK4 tourniquet that I keep in here. Some chapstick, things like that I'm going to need out on the trail. I'm not worrying about huge problems out on the trail. I've said this on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survivals channel a couple of times maybe. On your way hiking out, you're worrying about twisted ankles and sunburn and dehydration and things like that. When you get to camp, if you're camping, you're worried about burns from the fire, cuts from using the knives, bee stings, stuff like that. So pack your medical kit accordingly. Make your own medical kit and tailor it to what you need, not necessarily what you see on YouTube or wherever else people get their information from. So now we're gonna move on into the inside of my pack. I have a couple of other things that I was using for a video a moment ago, and they're not in my pack anymore. First thing inside my pack is my navigation system. I carry a what is known as a orienteering compass, just because that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I carry road maps for wherever the area that I'm in, even if it means multi-states. So when I go up to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survivals camping trips, I carry a Connecticut map and a New York map because he's so close to the Connecticut border. So that's actually what's in this pack right here, right now. That's from the last time I went camping up there. Diving deeper into my pack, I carry my food bag, which is just a stuff sack and some dehydrated meals and some snacks. I'll do another video on specifics that I carry inside, but that is for a different time and a different video. Not today. Next is my clothing sack. When I go out for, depending on how many days, I'll usually bring at least an extra pair of wool socks, an extra pair of boxers, depending on how hot it's going to be, an extra shirt. Because I'm a sweaty fool and sometimes I just got to change my shirts. So there's 3 things that live in my bag, in my clothing bag at all times. Number 1 is a small camp towel. Number 2 is a beanie. And number 3 is a gaiter or a buff, depending on, and that's seasonal. The buff is, it's either going to be a thicker one or a thinner one, like I said, depending on the season. So digging in here also, I keep a pair of work gloves. I keep a contractor trash bag. And I have recently started carrying this little guy. This is called the Thermacell Backpacker. It's a insect repellent system that hooks up to the little like multi-fuel canisters that you would use for your backpacking stove or whatever else people use them for. I just use them for my backpacker, Thermarest backpacker, and or Thermacell backpacker, and my cook stove, the Primus. Now, speaking of the fuel, this I would consider one of my luxury items. So these are the kind of fuel tanks I use. These, you can find them all sorts of different places. Jetboil has them, Coleman's has them. These happen to be Coleman's themselves. People throw these away when they start getting low because their fuel stoves don't necessarily work with the low pressures. But the Thermacell Backpacker does. So as you can see, like this one, I've done 12 boils on this canister itself. It's probably good for a couple more, but I can leave the Thermacell running all night on this, and unless I weigh it, not be able to tell any difference of if I've lost anything or not. I also carry one for my stove. Redundancy, I know. Right. So, but I think there's one more thing in the main compartment here. This is my extras and repair cap pouch. My repair kit's in here. I have some tenacious tape, some screen mesh tape, some duct tape, a sharpening kit, my fire starter kit, which is 2 Mickwicks, 2 homemade fire starters, and a ferro rod. And I think that might be it. This is a Doka pouch from Magpul. They're pretty water resistant, pretty durable. So I actually have a couple of these that I keep a lot of my valuables in, mainly the camera gear that I bring out with me in the field. And that's actually the next bit of stuff that I'm gonna pull out. I carry 2 camera pouches when it comes to the, 2 Doka pouches when it comes to the camera stuff. I have a larger Doka pouch that carries most of the camera stuff, and then I use the smaller Doka pouch for the I need this right now stuff. So batteries, cords, and extra GoPro mount or something like that. Microphones also fit in here because they're lapel mics and they fit. So that is actually it for the main compartment on my backpack. I'm going to go ahead and move a few things because now we're going to get into my sleep system, which I'll bring out right now. So first up for my sleep system is the stakes and cordage that I use. There's 9 aluminum stakes in here, 30 feet of paracord, and then 20 feet of twisted bank line. That's just for whatever I might need cordage. I mean, setting up my tarp and such. So the next thing I have in here is the pillow that I'm using now, but I'm not using necessarily in the future. This is the Outdoor Vitals something or other pillow. I'm not exactly sure if they have a name for it. It's just the Outdoor Vitals pillow. It's been good to me for as long as I've had it, as long as I've used it, and I have no complaints. I just would like to try out a couple of other pillows. I'm going to be trying the Thermarest compression pillow. I think that's what it's called. I got 2 of them, one for me and one for Lil. We're going to try those out and see if that's any better. So the next thing I carry for my sleep system is actually something that I don't use all the time, and again is seasonal. This is the Sea to Summit Mosquito Pyramid. It's just a pyramid that goes over top of you whenever, just to keep mosquitoes out. I keep that in my bag during the spring and summer times, early fall when there's bugs out and they, are a big problem. In here, I also keep the Sea to Summit bug head net. They fit together really well. If I'm going to have one, I'm going to have both. So, it's just not much extra weight for a lot more comfort. And I'm okay with that. This is my shelter. I use a AquaQuest Safari tarp. It's a 10 by 10, which is probably a little bit bigger than I actually need. But I like having the space to spread out underneath. And if I can convince Lil ever to go tarp camping with me, this is what we'll use. In the bag here, along with the AquaQuest tarp, is another smaller, lighter piece of material. It's not Tyvek, but it's not quite a tarp. Maybe I'd consider it like a footprint. Maybe it's a footprint, I guess. Either way, it's just something small that I had laying around that I put on the ground so that I'm not putting my sleeping mat right on the sticks, leaves, bugs, stuff like that. So it's just, I keep these 2 together because I really don't use one without the other. So the sleeping pad that I use when I go out is the Outdoorsman Lab ultralight inflatable sleeping pad. I don't have a lot of experience with other sleeping pads. I know that a lot of them are crazy prices. These guys have been good to me. I had a slow leak in a sleeping pad that I had previously. Called up the company. They had me take some pictures of it. Sent them the pictures and whatnot. And AJ down there got me a replacement quicker than I can imagine. So AJ, if you're watching this, thank you, brother. You helped me out a lot in a pickle. So thanks again, Outdoorsman Lab, ultralight backpacking, inflatable sleeping pad. Last thing on the list before I get to the backpack itself is my sleeping bag that's not a sleeping bag. I don't know if a lot of you have heard of these, but this is a quilt. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this so far. In the heat, I'm going to use this into the fall, and we'll see how things measure up at that point in time. So that's that. All right, so this is everything that I carry in or on my bag for the most part. I may carry a few extra mission essential items. I have some night vision that I like to take out with me sometimes when I want to go look at the stars. So the last thing on my backpacking gear list backpack is my backpack itself. This is the Eberly Stock V69 Destroyer. It's, I guess, what's known as a mountaineering backpack. So that's it, everybody. That's what I carry with me into the woods when I go backpacking and camping. I don't know what else to say. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, complaints, whatever, man, put it down in the comments. Let me hear about it. This is Ed from the Militant Farmer Channel, signing off. I'll catch you in the next video. Deuces. So I'm over here packing everything up after the video, and I forgot one huge important piece of gear that dropped on the floor when my bag fell earlier. It is my headlamp. Headlamp is a key piece of gear when you're out in the woods and trying to do things. This happens to be the Nightcore NU25. It's a rechargeable, small, tiny, super light headlamp. It has two buttons on it. One button for your red lights, one button for your white lights. This one happens to have a bright and a high beam and a low beam for the red, and then a high beam and a low beam and a flashing for the white. So, important piece of gear. Almost forgot it. Had to come back on video and make sure that it got its fair share in the limelight. So, that's it. Now I'm done. Go on your day. Be free, everybody. Be free. I'm out.